Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Age in Spain session, a conversation with Age in Spain. Today, I'm bringing Deepika Harjani, the regional coordinator for the Canary Islands, and we also have a special guest, Sue Peake, who is a volunteer in Age in Spain and will share with us her experience as a volunteer and also as a UK national that went through the process of residency. Before getting started with the interview, we will go through some of the updates that we have seen with the residency process since 2021 started. First of all, as you know, originally back in 2020, there was this soft deadline to do the residency process, which had as a final deadline the 31st of December of 2020. Since then, we've seen that it is still possible to access residency if you can prove that you lived lawfully in Spain before the end of 2020, before the Brexit happened. However, we've seen that some of the conditions, requirements, documents you need to provide in order to apply for residency have become more strict. For example, regarding the health insurance, if you are applying for residency in 2021, you need to prove that you were covered in terms of health insurance while you were living in Spain in 2020 and the months following until you started the application process. You may also be asked for documents proving that you continuously lived in Spain until the date of application. So with all these extra requirements, which actually it's just to prove that you lived here and therefore you are eligible for the withdrawal agreement, make sure to collect those utility bills, make sure to keep up the health insurance updated, and yes, and if you still haven't started the process, if you have the green card also, we really advise to get started to get the TIE because it has a lot of advantages, but especially for people that haven't registered yet and are under the scope of the withdrawal agreement, probably you want to start now before this process becomes completely mandatory. Without further ado, we will now jump to Deepika's section. She will explain the residency process, how the appointments are looking in the Canary Islands, and then we will jump also to the experience lived by Sue. So Deepika, all yours.
Thank you, Mark. Today I'm going to be sharing a presentation with all of you, so bear with me a minute. If okay, so it should be up in a minute. As Mark said recently, there's still people who haven't applied yet, and reinforcing what Mark was saying, make sure that you keep all the documents. One of the documents about the continuity could be an histórico de empadronamiento, which not only shows when you were in the padrón, but how long you have been in the padrón. The important thing is that, as you can see in our presentation, the question for all of you is, what document do you currently have? So some of you might just have a white NIE, which is not residency. This is just the tax identification number that we keep talking about in many occasions, but bear in mind that this is not residency. If you do have a green document, either in an A4 document size or in a little card size, you are protected under the withdrawal agreement. Now, some of you, and I think Sue is one of the lucky ones, which we'll go to her in a minute, have now exchanged this green card into the TIE. And those of you who, for example, started the process of residency from July last year, you might have never seen this green card because all you were given was directly after the resolution and after your process went through Strangeria, this little card. So I'm going to speak to you guys now about how is the current situation with appointments in the Canaries. Yeah. At the moment, if you haven't done your residency yet, if you don't have a green document either in A4 or in a little shaped card, and you still want to try and be eligible under the withdrawal agreement because you consider you have all those documents that Mark pointed earlier, if you are in the province of Tenerife, which means Tenerife, La Gomera, El Hierro, and La Palma, your options are, if you are in the little islands like La Gomera, El Hierro, La Palma, you might be able to present your application at the Extranjería representative office, which is subdelegaciones. But if you are in Tenerife, you either it's better that you use a digital certificate or a public administration registration office, because at the moment there is lack of appointments for step one. So rather than just keep looking at appointments, if you have everything ready, stop looking for appointments and try and find a different avenue. One of the avenues are the Cabildo. They have 3 offices. One is in the north of the island in La Orotava. They have one in the south of the island, and some town halls also have this system. But don't worry, you can always contact Agent Spain and we can give you a breakdown about how to go about that. Okay. Now, Sue, in which province do you belong? Because you are in
Lanzarote.
Okay, and Lanzarote belongs to Gran Canaria province. So Lanzarote, Fuerteventura, and Gran Canaria, you have the options again to use digital certificate, and instead of registry office, you could perhaps try and book an appointment under this route, which is solicitud de autorizaciones. This is the route that normally other applications tend to use, like other partners of EU or third country nationals, but you could perhaps use this method. But bear in mind that the appointments that you will get are very further on the line. So if you are in a hurry and you have everything in place, it's best to do it with a digital certificate. Now, for those of you who actually already have the green card or already been given a February resolution, here we're going to speak about how you go about that, either with the resolution or with the green card. So, Sue, can you tell us what did you have at the beginning of the year? What document did you have?
I had the green card. Yes.
Okay. And what do you currently have, or what is your current situation?
I still have the green card because it was returned to me, and I am waiting for my TIE, which will take 60 days.
Okay. So it means you actually went to book yourself an appointment to try and exchange your green card into the TIE, right?
Yes, correct. Yes. I made an appointment via the internet, and we did look at Lanzarote, but there was no appointments available. And seeing as Fuerteventura is only 20 minutes on the ferry, we looked at Fuerteventura and there were plenty of appointments. You could choose the next day or any day of the week. So it was so much easier to do it that way.
Okay, so what Sue did, she went in this website that we're showing, she selected the province of Las Palmas, I believe, and then you selected the option. It's very important, it's under the route of Policía, because Extranjería, you already have done it, but now it's your step with the police. And you have to select the option that says Policía. Is quite long, but the important key message is that under brackets, you have the word Brexit. Okay, and as Sue said, after introducing her details, she then selected the Puerto del Rosario option, because even if you could check on the Dropbox, you might see Lanzarote, but Lanzarote appointments tend to release the 20th of every month for the month after. So if you're in a real hurry, you rather, instead of waiting to the 20th of every month to book an appointment, you can do what Sue did, which is select an appointment in Fuerteventura in Puerto Rosario, and you get this. This is a real example. We are today, like, this is a real example of yesterday or the day before, and it shows you different appointments available. As Sue pointed out, you get different times and different dates. Something that is very important to take into account when you do book appointments, you have to have a Spanish mobile phone. And why is that, Sue? Why you need to have a Spanish mobile phone?
so that they can confirm your appointment.
That's great, because you do receive a text message with a code and you need to introduce it. If you do not have a Spanish mobile number but have a friend that does, you can book your appointment through that friend. Or if you are in real struggles, you can contact us and we can see in what ways we can help you to book an appointment. Okay? And what documents you require for this appointment? So can you confirm that these are the documents you took when you went to your appointment in Fuerteventura?
Yes, that's correct. I had the my green card. I had the EX form, which I filled in. I had the what we call is the TASA 790, which I paid at the bank, €12, and I kept the receipt. I had my passport and a copy of my passport, and I had a passport size photo, and I had my padron, which was within 3 months.
Good. And as I said, we are here to help you. You can contact us and we can send you these details as well. So yeah, this is my part of the appointment system. You always know where to find us. We have Facebook as well, as some of you are here today. You can also send us a Facebook Messenger. We do have a landline and we also have an email address. So you can explore all our information on our website. And if you have any further questions, you could ask us about the appointment system or any other thing that you might have.
So, in terms of questions, I think we have one from Yvette Jeffrey, and she's asking, is there an agency in Tenerife who could support my mother in getting residency? She's due to return to Tenerife in August after having been stuck in the UK for 18 months. Okay, Yvette, well, here there are several factors that you need to consider. First, I wouldn't say an agency, but there are many law firms that could support a residency application. However, as I understand, she's been stuck in the UK for 18 months, I believe, for the COVID situation, or I guess that situation has a lot of details, and you might be better sharing it with us via private message. You can send us an inquiry to our residency helpline. Message in a private message in Facebook can also do, and then we can send you an email to confirm. But yes, because as you probably know, if you are a temporary resident, you can only live for 6 months Spain, and if you're a permanent, up to 1 year or 5 years if you did the exchange. But if she still didn't have residency and she has been away for 18 months, we need to look into that with more detail to see exactly what's the situation. Okay, so please contact us privately and we will gladly reply to your inquiry in further detail. Now, another thing that it is important to comment is the situation with the driving licenses, which is probably after residency the biggest concern for most UK nationals that are living in Spain. So, as you know, back by the end of 2020, the Spanish authorities enabled a process where a UK national who was a resident back then could request an exchange to the DGT, which is the institution that manages all the driving licenses in Spain. If you didn't do that request, sadly, now you would have to take a driving test to the exchange, but we have confirmation of UK officials from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office that they are trying to negotiate a way for UK residents to not have to take this test in order to do the exchange, even if they didn't request it back in 2020. The update that we have on this regard is that for those who did request the exchange, you will be able to do the exchange until the 31st of December 2021. So the deadline has been extended for 6 months. However, This does not mean that you can use your UK driving license until December of 2021. You can only use your UK driving license from the 1st of January till the 30th of June. This hasn't changed, sadly. So no more updates for now, but make sure to follow us in Facebook and subscribe to our newsletter to get the latest updates on this regard. Now, Deepika?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak a bit of some particularities also of the Canaries that I didn't mention earlier. Some of you, especially maybe in the islands of Fuerteventura, have had issues with post by not receiving your February resolution, or if the Spanish authorities are trying to get more information from you, they normally send you a letter that we always explain in these meetings, that these letters are very, very important because there are letters that need to be signed. And if you are traveling or you're not at home, or you already experienced in normal circumstances, issues with post, it will be important to take this into account. Now, if you're expecting a resolution and you haven't heard anything about your application, you could, in the provinces of Gran Canaria, so it means in Las Palmas, Lanzarote, where it's Sue, and Fuerteventura, you could book an appointment with the extranjeria offices and request them to either print you the resolution, print you the letter, or give you an update of your situation. This is, of course, not for applications that maybe you did 1 week ago. Bear in mind that the authorities can take up to 3 months to give you a reply. But say it has passed more than 3-4 months and you are aware that you have issues with post, it might be wise going down the route and asking about what is going on with your application. Again, we're here to help you. So if you are in that circumstance, don't forget about us and come and contact us.
Great, Deepika. Are we missing any details on
now that we have Sue here, I was wondering, because she has recently gone to Fuerteventura, maybe she could also share with us the experience. So like some people might be worried, would they going all the way to another island, to another police station that they might not know about? Was it easy for you to find the place? There were any language barriers? Maybe Sue can explain a bit more about, at the end of the day, she had the guts. She went all the way to another island and did everything. So maybe she can give us a bit more detail of that particular day and time when she went to the appointment.
Yes, of course. I'd really like to share my experience, because having all the documentation in place and the appointment, I booked myself on the ferry and drove over to the ferry. And I would point out that I did get the residence discount, because people are, different people are talking about that, but I did get the residence discount. And it was about a 25-minute drive from the port in Coralejo, to the Puerto del Rosario police station. And it was very easy to find. There were plenty of parking spaces, parking all around. And if you'd forgotten to photocopy anything, there were plenty of shops close by that were doing photocopies as well. So you could get copies of anything you needed if you missed something. And there was no queues. I walked straight in, and the officers were really, really friendly and spoke excellent English and made you feel at ease. So it was a really, really pleasant experience, which makes a nice change. So yes, very, very easy to do. And I would definitely recommend people to do it themselves with the help of, obviously, Age in Spain. I obviously had Deepika's help. So yes, it was a very, very easy experience, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Thank you, Sue. And as I said, she was lucky. She got a police officer that speaks really good English. I hope he's there a couple of more days, but always bear in mind that that people change rota. So if you, for example, you have little Spanish, that's also very helpful. At the end of the day, one of the things you have to do is to do your fingerprints. And something very, very important I did reminded Sue when she went to this appointment is, do not leave the office without reading very carefully the document that they give you, because that document contains very important information such as your gender, such as the type of TIE that you're going to get. It's already written in there what type of validity your TIE has to have. And this is important. Maybe Mark can give us a point that if you already have the green residency, especially if you've been here for more than 5 years, those who actually can access the long-term TIE, it's very important that they fill the forms appropriately. Maybe Mark can guide us a bit more about that.
Yes. So as you probably are aware, once you have 5 years of legal residency in Spain, you can apply for the permanent residency. Why would you want to do that? Well, the permanent residency gives you some extra rights, and especially now that the UK has left the EU, those are more important than ever. To start with, you will have the right to access the Spanish social security system, which means that you won't anymore have to pay for private health insurance if you were doing so. If you had the S1 and you were exporting your UK healthcare, you can stop doing that if that fits you. If you were paying into the Convenio Especial, you also can stop doing that, because now you're entitled just for this, because of being a permanent resident, to access this healthcare system. So that's one thing. But another one that might be of interest to you is that you will have access to the travel discounts between islands and also to the peninsula. After Brexit happened and you stopped being EU nationals, the old green EU certificate is not anymore valid to request this type of discounts. And the only way you can access this from now on is by becoming a permanent resident. So that's another very important thing to keep in mind. I see that we have a couple of comments. Pauline Strachan, I believe this makes reference to the driving license that we mentioned before. I applied for NLV in Edinburgh last week, but would like to provide further information to support application. Is there a contact that you would have that I could email with further information? Okay, so you're talking here about the non-lucrative visa. Yes, in our website we have actually a lot of information about it, and you can also send an inquiry to our residency helpline by calling or by filling in the inquiry form, and we can send you a reply as soon as possible. Yes, Deepika?
No, I was just going to say that part of our work is more with people who are under the withdrawal agreement. So that's also important to take into account that we have some information on our website about the visas, but most of our inquiries, things like driving license, things like healthcare, and things like for residency matters, our main focus is for people who are under the withdrawal agreement.
Yes, however, we have still some information for those who might need it. So, although it's not, of course, as comprehensive as the residency process under the withdrawal agreement by any means, but if you need some sort of guideline, we can provide it anyway. Okay, I think that we don't have any more questions, so we can wrap this event up. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Sue, for sharing your experience, and thank you, Deepika, for sharing how the process works in the Canaries, what are the intricacies and specificities of the territory. Make sure to follow our Facebook page if you haven't yet. We will continue to do more events, both online and offline, in person. So you can always subscribe to our newsletter to receive the latest updates, and follow us on the social media to see the most recent updates, both on the residency process and on the activities that we're doing. Thank you very much for coming, and have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.